everyone, it's Holly and welcome to my spring book haul. So these are all of the books that I've purchased since my last book haul. And there's kind of a lot of books. Like literally a tote full of books. Now, in my defense, a lot of these were discount books. Now, first of all, I actually don't think I need to defend myself. I make my own money. I am an adult. I make my own decisions, and I am allowed to do whatever I want because personal responsibility is a thing. Also, buying these doesn't like put me in debt or anything. I wouldn't do that. However, a lot of these are discount books. I either got them at Goodwill, a library book sale, thrift books, and a lot of them are also books that I have already read, so I am just adding them to my shelf. And I am buying more books every month, mostly because I want to, but I am trying to prioritize, you know, making the decision to add books and that I've already read instead of just buying like new books that I may or may not read right away. So let's get started. So I'm obviously not going to go into super detail about a lot of these. I will probably tell you if I've read it or not and where I purchased it. And first, I thought about not talking about these, but I loved thrift books that I just thought I would mention it in case it's something that you were interested in. So I have been looking for a kinesiology class, or like, honestly, I'll take anything like human anatomy, physio, anything, and I cannot find like any classes. I'm more than willing to pay for them. I'm just not finding anything, but especially since I'm dancing again and I'm trying to like work out more, I really want to understand more about how everything works. So I had a thought, and I was like, why don't I check thrift books for textbooks? Because at least it's something. And I got two. So I got the Manual of Structural Kinesiology and and Human Anatomy and Physiology, and this thing is freaking huge. These are a little dated, but they were super cheap. These books are like, even like these papery ones, because I was looking on Amazon, are like $100 because textbooks, but they were only a few dollars on thrift books. So if you're looking for something like this, maybe you just want to learn, or maybe if you are in college and editions don't matter that much, that is the case for some classes. I know that was the case when I went to school. Then thrift books might be a good place for you to check out. So highly recommend. So on to the more like fun books, although I think that's fun. I'm just going to grab things out of here, and like I said, this is what I've purchased since my last book haul, with the exception of 4 books, which we'll get to. So first is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch, and this is a young adult contemporary, I believe, and I got this off of Thrift Books, and I have not read this yet. Next, I have Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and I actually picked this up at the Goodwill. I was there looking for a VCR. Listen, I had a need for a VCR. I actually had a need for a VHS rewinder. They didn't have one. I settled for a VCR. It's a thing. So I swung by the book section, and I bought this and 2 other books, one of which was for my mom. It was a hardcover of The Passage, which is like her favorite series, and her paperback, which she has lent to me, is falling apart, so I picked up the hardcover for her. And I just heard a lot about this book and this series, but I've just always been a little on it. But when I saw it at Goodwill, I was like, well, for a couple bucks, sure, I will give it a try. You know, we'll see. And I have not read that. The other book I got at Goodwill was I've Got Your Number by Sophie Kinsella, and hopefully I can take this sticker off. And this is adult, like, women's fiction, chick lit, contemporary romance sans sex scenes. I wouldn't call this contemporary romance, but chick litty. I actually own this as an ebook, and I've read it several times, and I saw it and I was like, I don't own that. So I had to pick it up to add it to my shelf. So obviously I have read this, like I said. I have been building out my Serena Bowen collection. So I got Him and Us by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. I have read Him before. I have not read Us. I've been like meaning to. It's always on my list of things to do, but I didn't want to read this as an ebook. Actually, I think I might own the ebook, but whatever, it's fine, because I just prefer a physical copy. So I bought these, and they are signed. So they're signed on a book plate. I'm assuming that Elle Kennedy just like signs a bunch of book plates, gives them to Serena Bowen, and then she signs them when she sends them. So there's that. And then obviously again, and so I am just buying like 2 or 3 Serena Bowen signed books every month. They're usually about $15, and I think it's worth it. And this is a contemporary male romance featuring 2 hockey players, and I do plan on rereading Him before I read Us. And then I bought a relatively new release. So I got this from Amazon, and that is Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. I assume, I don't know. Amazon, look at what you did to my book. It's ripped. It's fine. It's fine. I've been excited about this since I heard about it. It is a contemporary young adult, and I know that Lala from Books and Lala read this recently, and she said it is super emotional, which I was which I was totally not expecting from this cover. So I was gonna read it right away, but I feel like I'm not now, because now I'm like all scared. I'm gonna like cry like crazy. I think she was talking about how like it's one of those books where like you have to like put it down because you're like too emotional, and I think she was saying like she doesn't know if other people do that. I do it, Lala. I do it. My hands start to tingle. It's really weird. I don't know if other people have that happen, but I'll literally be reading a book and my hands will start to tingle, and that's like the beginning of the emotion or something. And it only happens when I read. It doesn't happen in my real life, like when I'm in a heightened state of emotion. I don't know. But I am super excited about this. And then I don't even remember where I heard about this, but I picked up Let's Get Textual by Tegan Hunter, and I don't really remember anything about it either. I assume it's like new adult slash probably contemporary romance, and it's about somebody who like accidentally texts the wrong guy and then they like keep talking. You know, it kind of gave me I've Got Your Number vibes in a sort of way, but I've talked about this a lot. I'm a huge fan of textual communication. Like I love that in my books, and I like books that are written textually. So obviously like maybe historically you'd have more epistolatory novels where it's just like letter writing, but now you have a lot of combinations. So like Meg Cabot has her boy series, and I know at least Every Boy's Got One is completely done in like letters, emails, like stuff like that, and I think that that is really fun. Excuse me, what are you doing? And so I was like, sure. Like I said, maybe this was like a Jessica from Peace Love Books recommendation. I don't know. I literally don't remember. I just bought it and I want to read it ASAP. Oh, okay, so I mentioned these 4 in my last book haul, but they had not arrived, and they have since arrived. And that is the entire Off Campus series by Elle Kennedy in the Babs editions. So I have read all of these as ebooks. I'm super excited to have them as physical copies and to reread them. All I want to do lately is reread, but I also want to read all the new books that I have. It's a struggle. So you have The Deal, The Mistake, which I think was my first Elle Kennedy book ever, The Score, and The Goal. And these are not signed or anything, but I believe she is getting rid of the Abs edition, and so this was like a last chance. And I actually do really like the new covers. They're more girl focused, I'll try and like put a cover here of one of them. So I may or may not at some point buy those too, because whatever, it's fine. And then I finally finished this series, owning it. I have not finished the series yet, but I bought These Broken Stars, and this is a young adult sci-fi novel. I read this a couple of years ago from the library. I picked this up from thrift books to add to my shelf because I enjoy this series. These covers are gorgeous. I want to own them. Again, I'm an adult and I can do what I want with my money. Oh, so I did buy Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller. So I bought Daughter of the Pirate King in my last book haul. And when I was like halfway through Daughter of the Pirate King, I knew I needed this. So I bought it ASAP and I've read it. It's young adult fantasy. I would call it fantasy. It's just fantasy. Like, young adult is just a miscellaneous title we're using now for fantasy, I feel like. But yeah, so I read this. I bought this off of Amazon. And because I was enjoying the Daughter of the Pirate King so much, I also bought Warrior of the Wild by Trisha Levenseller, which is her new release for 2019, because I've decided that I love her and her writing and her Instagram, and I'm super excited to read this. I really wanted to read it this month, but I haven't gotten to it. It's the end of May right now. Hopefully I will get to it in June because I want to read it so bad. And this is a standalone YA fantasy. I'm sure it'll be just like the Pirate King duology though, and it'll probably be a little, in my opinion, not YA and just fantasy. So since I finished the Finishing School series, I have been having this urge to reread the Parasol Protectorate series. Yeah. So I decided that I would buy the 4 I didn't already own, and I got all of these off of thrift books, and I wanted these editions. The only thing is Heartless I had to get, which is the 4th book, I had to get in a library binding. It was the only one they had, which is fine. It just means it has like the labeling and stuff, and sometimes you can take that stuff off, but it is an adventure doing it, let me tell you. So I did get Soulless, Changeless, Blameless, and like I said, Heartless. I already owned Timeless. So I figured I could reread these, although I've been doing rereading as audiobooks lately because it is really convenient. I'm still not sure how I feel about audiobooks for fiction, especially books I've never read before, but as a reread I feel comfortable doing it. Like, I won't miss anything too important. So if my library has these as audio, I may end up doing it that way, but I still totally want these on my shelves because I love them. So then some other thrift book purchases I did was My Not So Perfect Life by Sophie Kinsella. I used to buy her books every time they came out, and then I just stopped a few years ago, and so I am just trying to like rebuild that collection up. And so this is a contemporary chick lit fiction book, and I have not read it yet, but I think this is like her most recent release, I think it might be. And then I bought The Bollywood Bride by Sonali Dev. Again, I can't believe I've only read A Bollywood Affair. I follow her on Twitter and I really loved A Bollywood Affair, and I just have been such a slacker and haven't gotten her books or read them, and I feel like a horrible person for it. But I now have the second one in this series. I am super excited to read it and check out her other stuff. I think she just had a book come out in May as well, called Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors, I think. I'll put the cover here. It's a really pretty cover. I really like it. Who does her books? So this is Kensington. I think that one is Kensington too. Quality Covers, Kensington. Quality Covers. I feel like I should do the mass market paper books backs last or something. I don't know. Oh, so I got The Hating Game, which I don't think I talked about last time. I read this from the library and I loved it, so I had to pick up a copy of it, and this is contemporary romance. It's so cute. I love it. I'm trash for it just like everybody else. And then I picked up Fluffy by Julia Kent, which is a contemporary romance. I bought this off of Amazon, and it is, I've read it. This was like a Facebook promoted post, which normally I just write on by, but this one caught my eye. I will tell you, a little bit of a disappointment, but it's okay. It's still a really cute cover. I may or may not keep this. We'll see. This would probably be like a, I'll keep it, and then if the shelves get too full, it may have to go kind of a situation. And then I bought the whole Titan series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I had already read the first book as an ebook, and then I had waited until the series was complete to want to read them, and I am actually currently reading the last book. It should be done by the time I film like my May wrap up, which would have already been up. I think these are in the right order. So you have The Return, The Power, The Struggle, and The Prophecy. And this is like a new adult fantasy, sci-fi, like urban fantasy kind of story. This is a spin-off from her Covenant series, which probably not going to be a surprise, but reading this makes me want to reread that series. I'm having a problem. I need to like quit my job just so I can read. Murphy agrees. Murphy, are you gonna get a job so I can quit my job and we can just read all day? No, okay. Apparently not. Well, that's rude. They're so rude. Let's see. I feel like I might have talked about this, but I don't think I did. So I got Let Me Tell You About Jasper by Dana Perino. I like Dana Perino. I think her dog's adorable. Her Instagram game with her dog is adorable. Super excited about this. I got The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. Reagan from Peru's Project talks about this book and this series all the time. And so I picked it up. It was also one of the, it was like the buddy book for, or like the group, or no, it was a host pick for one of the challenges for Read-A-Rama, and I didn't get to it for that. And I do really want to read it. The problem is I feel like when I read it, because I've been having a thing where if I start a series, I'm really wanting to read them, that I'm gonna just want to keep going, and I want to get through some of the other books on my TBR before I buy the remainder books in the series, so I've been putting it off. And I think this is YA fantasy. I know it's like a fantasy like Russian set thing. I don't know exactly the like genre or whatever, and I believe it's a trilogy, and it is complete. So then I got 3 books from my library book sale. I really thought I talked about these last time, but I quickly like skimmed through my book haul and it looks like I didn't. So I got 2. Am I really sure I didn't? Okay, well, whatever. Sorry if this is a repeat. I got 2 Gina Showalter books from the Lords of the Underworld series. I got The Darkest Surrender and The Darkest Seduction, and I actually own both of these as ebooks, but you know, might as well add them to my shelf. I think this is a fun series. I relatively recently did a reread of this, and I think I did a series review of the series as well. They're paranormal romance. And then speaking of paranormal romance, I bought Destined for an Early Grave by Janine Frost. This is a Night Huntress series novel. I do not know which one this is. These titles confuse the crap out of me, but I am slowly trying to like fill out this collection, and then surprise, I'm going to reread them. I know. You're probably surprised that I said that, but you know. And then from Thrift Books, I picked up another Janine Frost book, and that is Shades of Wicked, and this is her newest series. This is a spin-off from the Night Huntress books. This is her second spin-off series that are like 2 standalone spin-off books about characters, and this one follows Ian, who is an awesome side character, and honestly I'm kind of holding off on reading this right now because she relatively recently announced that she's gonna have to delay the release of the second book in the series, just because I think part of it was personal, like she had stuff going on that took her time, and then it might have been some with the book. I can't remember what she said, but you do you, Janine Frost. You do you. But, you know, I'm just waiting just in case this is like, I really need to read the next one or something. Let's see. Oh, 2 other thrift books I picked up. Also thrift books, you guys, by the way, $10. $10 is all you have to spend to get free shipping in the US, which, I mean, honestly is like 4 books most of the time, for me at least. So, you know. So I picked up Rookie Move by Serena Bowen. I almost didn't buy this because I was like, oh, I should just buy it from her and get it signed, but it was such a good deal and I think I needed to get to the $10. So I figured whatever, and then if I ever see her, I will have her sign it. This is the first book in her Brooklyn Bruiser series. It's contemporary hockey romance. And then I picked up Hot Response by Shannon Stacy, which is contemporary romance. It's a firefighter novel. This was the only book in her Boston Fire series I had not read. So I wanted to pick it up, and I got it, and I read it, and it was beautiful. Of it. So I have this is the first book in her newest series, The Wallflower Wager. The Governor's Game is right up here. That's the second one. It's a beautiful cover, and The Wallflower Wager comes out really soon. I think it comes out at like the beginning of July or something, and I'm super pumped and loving Tessa Dare. And then I bought Lorraine Heath's newest release, The Scoundrel in Her Bed. I am kind of behind on my Lorraine Heath. I am a little behind in my Lorraine Heath reading, but I still really love her books, and I figure I will, once I pick one up, I'm probably just going to want to through them. So, might as well buy this when it comes up. Might as well have bought this now and have it. And then the final 4 books I have are all, I did purchase these off of Amazon because I wanted these covers, and I already own these in like the original covers, but you know, I can do what I want. And that is the Wallflower series by Lisa Kleypas. So if you saw my video where I talked about romance covers, you know I'm a huge fan of books with the girls in dresses on the covers. And don't be wrong, these are not my favorite covers ever, but I think that they are better than the originals, which are more just like artistic scenes, no people or anything. I do still have those, and I will probably keep them forever because they are like my original copies that I read and everything. I just have them sitting behind these on the shelf up here. Oh no, whatever, it's fine. So the first one is Secrets of a Summer Night, and then It Happened One Autumn, Devil in Winter, which is just, you guys, such a good novel. And then the last one is Scandal in Spring, and my only complaint about these is that there are no step backs, but it's fine. So those are all the books that I have purchased since my last book haul, and I'm gonna keep trying to do this like kind of seasonally. I'm sure they'll be just as big. If you think I should do them monthly and have them be shorter, let me know, and then I'll just skip it if I only have like 2 or 3 books in a month. I just don't want to film book hauls all the time, but I feel like waiting this long because of this many books was a lot, and now I have to go put all these books away and figure out how I'm going to do a thumbnail for this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, questions, recommendations, or anything like that, feel free to let me know, and I will see you later. Bye.